Girlfriend is known for its messy, often toxic portrayals of relationships, all while the main character navigates their career, friendships, and everyday lives. Joan, Toni, and Maya's love life usually takes center stage, especially because of how chaotic and dramatic they can be. But in the middle of all that dysfunction, we tend to gloss over William Dent's messy love life as well. In this video, we are going to talk about one of the most light-hearted, funny, and compatible couples on the show, my personal favorite, William and Yvonne. In my opinion, they were endgame, and we're going to investigate why the relationship eventually went wrong and ended up with Yvonne leaving William at the altar.
Perdónenme a todos, no acepto.
Va.
William!
That's Big Willie to you.
When we first meet William Jerome Dent, Esquire on Girlfriend, he's a confident, successful single lawyer and a core member of the friend group alongside Joan, Toni, Maya, and Lynn. William works with Joan and Maya, and from the start, he comes across as a smart, charming, and genuinely hilarious friend. He's mostly associated with Joan, and honestly, it makes sense. The two share a lot in common. They're both lawyers, they have similar nerdy interests, and they both bond over their quirky hobbies. In the very first episode, when Joan doesn't have a date, she asks William to come with her to her birthday celebration, and he agrees. Moments like that establish their dynamic early on. I'd even argued that William and Joan are the true best friends of the show. Early on. Their connection felt natural, comfortable, and built on mutual respect rather than romance, but I'm getting ahead of myself because we all know what happened. William is confident and funny, but early in the series, we also learn something important about him. He's a mama's boy. He talks to his mother every day and deeply values her opinion, which I can only assume extends to his dating life as well. In Season 1, Episode 12, each friend makes a list of their ideal partner. On his list, William says he wants a woman that's nurturing, but also a tomboy, someone rebellious, someone not afraid to climb a fence. Basically, he's describing Yvonne. Lynn even joked that it sounds like an escaped convict, but in reality, it's the complete opposite. William first meets Yvonne online, most likely on blackstuds.com, and during episode 12, the dating website names were very specific and hilarious, and they eventually go on a date. At first, William wasn't really impressed with Yvonne. He ran out on her and called her crazy internet Yvonne, and the feeling was mutual. Their next encounter happens in Season 1, Episode 6, where they eventually reunited at the cemetery after Joan's prank. This is where we learn that Yvonne is a cop for the LAPD. We don't know much about her yet, but it's clear she genuinely enjoys being a police officer. During this scene, she confronts William for running out on their date and for calling her crazy. And honestly, I think that so-called craziness, or maybe for a better word, intensity, is exactly what attracted William to her in the first place.
Look, hey, is somebody gonna let me out of these handcuffs?
He ran out on me.
Oh, so this is Internet Yvonne. Wow, you were right. She really is crazy.
You told her I was crazy?
I didn't say you were crazy. I said I was crazy to have lost your number.
See, now you're playing with my emotions.
Hey, Bonnie, you need to be alone with this guy or what?
By the time they run into each other again at the museum, William is still clearly scared of Yvonne. You can see it all over his face, but at the same time, he sees that they keep on bumping into each other, and he doesn't take it as a sign from the universe. However, he wants to explore what can be between them, so he asks her out on a date. At first, Yvonne is understandably skeptical, but as the conversation continues, the wall slowly comes down. They bond over their shared loneliness and, surprisingly, over the fact that they were both a part of a choir. That moment feels like a turning point because despite their differences, they finally find common ground.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound
that saved a wretch.
As they spend more time together, starts integrating into William's world. She gets to know the girls and even shares details about their intimate relationship with Maya and Joan, something that embarrasses William at first, but he got over it quickly and they continued their relationship. While watching this for the 6th or 7th time, I actually felt a little relief because it meant I could skip over Joan and Toni's relationships, which were actively pissing me off. John and Sean were getting on my nerve, and Toni and Greg, the artist, were absolute mess. Yeah, that was doing absolutely nothing for me. Compared to the two toxic relationships, William and Yvonne felt like a breath of fresh air. I feel that way because they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. There weren't any overwhelming commitment or major issues weighing the relationship down, especially compared to what was happening around them at the time. There was no constant drama, no chaos. Things were just smooth and it felt easy. And it was honestly one of the happiest we've ever seen William in the show. And that's why it felt super strange that they rushed him saying I love you in the Valentine's Day episode. Now granted, they met around Christmas, so technically the timeline kind of tracked. It's been about 2 months. Maybe he really did love her by then. That part isn't impossible, but the way he said it, the way he looked after, and he looked like he regretted it. I'm so sorry. He's looking at me like I forced him to do this, but you were not being held at gunpoint. He literally said to Joan that he didn't really want a committed relationship, or maybe that was just his nerve talking. He actually does love Yvonne, and it was Valentine's Day. So we're gonna forgive William for that right now. As their relationship continues to grow, we start seeing William and Yvonne spending a lot more time together. They're clearly enjoying each other, even though William starts to complain a little. The excitement is still there, but you can also tell he's beginning to feel overwhelmed. That tension shows up in episode 17 when William asks the girls to hang out with Yvonne so he can have some alone time, his version of boys' time. And honestly, I'm not faulting William for wanting space. Healthy relationships do need room to breathe. What would have helped though is him being upfront about it and telling her right away instead of going about it the roundabout way. Meanwhile, Yvonne actually vibes really well with the group. Her outgoing, energetic personality blends naturally with the girls, and she fits in almost effortlessly. That's why it stings a little when she finds out through Joan's intervention that William basically set the whole hangout up just to avoid her. And I'm just sitting here asking myself, where are Yvonne's friends? But that's another problem. That small conflict ends up with Yvonne getting a key in a drawer at William's apartment. Now, I wouldn't exactly call that a great solution to wanting space, but to be fair, William asks her what he can do to make it up to her, and that is the solution she comes up with. Now, they move in together and live happily ever after. I wish, but that's not what happened.
William, Yvonne's been shot.
Oh my God, is she dead?
No, she's on line 1.
As we can see, Yvonne got shot. Even though there was no vital organ affected, it was still a scary situation for William. The couple clearly sees this situation in different ways. For Yvonne, it's actually a positive thing. She gets a citation, time off work, tickets to the Lion King, which I would have gladly taken because I love the Lion King. And there's even talk to name an alley after her. To Yvonne, this moment reinforced that she's brave, capable, and meant to be on the force. But for William, this is the first time he's truly scared for someone he's dating. He said it himself, another 24 inches could have pierced a vital organ. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little dramatic of him, but that was the fear talking. That's someone who he just realized how close he was to losing her. And instead of sitting in that fear, he turns it into an ultimatum. He basically tells her it's either him or the force, and this is where the real problem starts. I will say I understand where William is coming from because being a police officer is a dangerous job, but it also comes with the job. That still doesn't justify asking your girlfriend to give up her dream, especially when there's no real commitment yet. And this is where the core problem of the relationship starts. William wants huge sacrifices from Yvonne without offering the same level of commitment in return. Even if they were married, that would still be a massive thing to ask. William loves being a lawyer, and I don't think he would ever quit it for a girlfriend, a wife, or anyone. Obviously, Yvonne doesn't quit the force right away and ends up getting honored. I think that's good for her, because why would you let a man tell you what to do? The two break up and Yvonne gets herself tickets to the Sinbad Music Festival. Meanwhile, William is still clearly not over her and gets jealous at the idea of Yvonne living her best life and having fun at the festival. So while Joan and Toni are going through their own drama, Joan takes that moment as a sign to go to Jamaica to the festival to figure out things with Toni. The girls go to Jamaica in a girls' trip, and Joan tries to convince Yvonne to get back with William. Even though they broke up, it's still obvious that they still love each other. Yvonne wants William to love all of her, and according to her, including her 9mm as well. William, however, can't fully accept that. Eventually, William flies to Jamaica to propose to Yvonne. However, the intent of the proposal just feels wrong.
You wouldn't quit the force for your boyfriend. But tell me, would you? Would you do it for your husband?
He wasn't proposing because he was ready to commit or get married. He was proposing because he was scared of losing her. Marriage, in my opinion, was not the solution to this problem. Maybe they could have worked through their issues by continuing to date and seeing where things went naturally. Instead, Yvonne agrees to quit the force, joking that she's willing to make concessions since she snagged the lawyer. But honestly, it feels less like a compromise and more like her being blinded by the ring. Although the condition of their engagement is that Yvonne quits the force, she hasn't actually done it yet because she's waiting for William to set a date for the wedding. Instead, they keep on going back and forth about who's sacrificing the most for whom until Yvonne finally decides to quit her job. She clearly is unhappy about it, but she does it anyway because she doesn't want her career to stand in the way of their happiness. And while I do think Yvonne should have stood her ground, sometimes you have to do what you gotta do. Still, being a police officer is her passion, and I don't think she would have ever been truly happy as a stay-at-home wife. Or maybe she would. The bigger issue with William is that he asked Yvonne to quit the force, but never fully acknowledged that that's a huge sacrifice for her. To be fair, she probably should have waited until they were actually married, or at least try going part-time to see if that lifestyle worked for her, but instead, she quits early, hoping that doing so will finally push William to set a wedding date.
But now, we don't know what date we'll be celebrating that.
Well, you can't predict the future.
It becomes clear that William isn't ready for marriage, and I don't think he fully understands the emotional weight of the situation he's created. Feeling anxious about whether William is going to set the date, Yvonne turns to Joan for advice in the episode Willie Won't He, and it just goes back and forth between Yvonne and Joan and William and Joan. Joan suggests that maybe they should live together first, and honestly, I think that was the perfect idea for both of them. Living together could have given William a small sense of control and security, while Yvonne could have continued working, maybe even part-time. It was a solution that didn't involve rushing into marriage.
Business. I tried. I really did, but I promise, from now on, I will stay out of your relationship with Yvonne.
If you'd done that in the first place, I wouldn't have to convince Yvonne that moving in is a bad idea.
Wait, why is that a bad idea?
Because playing at marriage without actually being married devalues marriage.
Okay.
He really doesn't make sense the whole episode, because if marriage was that important to you, why are you not taking it seriously and setting the date? He finally sets the date to February 14, and they get there by using Joan's life as a cautionary tale because they don't want to end up alone like her, while preparing her shoeboxes. But I think her life seemed peaceful to me around that time, so not too much on Joan.
I know one thing, Willie. I don't want to end up wallpapering shoeboxes.
Hey, it's fun and they're pretty. Because he's been happier ever since he started dating you than I've ever known him to be. But not because you think I'm pathetic. Because I'm not. My life is good.
As they move forward, William asks Yvonne to sign a prenup, and she agrees. But instead of just signing his, Yvonne presents her own, making sure she's financially compensated for leaving the force for him. And honestly, good for Yvonne. I didn't give her enough credit before, but this moment makes it clear that she knows her worth. And William got hurt by this, and eventually they just dropped the prenup altogether. It's officially wedding time, and shout out to Joan for being a good sport about this and not being jealous. She's the best man woman, she's planning the wedding, and that shows that she can be a good friend. Maybe she can only be a good friend to William, or when it comes to wedding planning, I think she's good, but she actually didn't plan Maya's wedding actually good. So William buys Yvonne a house as a present. Personally, I thought it was a nice gesture because in this economy, if somebody buys me a house, I'm taking it. I don't care if they didn't tell me. But Yvonne feels like it wasn't the right thing to do, especially when William has, previous control issues. And the red flag is that in the episode, William didn't want to apologize or realize where he went wrong. He said that he didn't want to lose the argument, so he kept the house, but Toni had to convince him to sell the house. And when he did that, they ended up liking the house. So long story short is that they have a house. And what would you do if your fiance or anyone bought you a house without telling you? Would you gladly take it, or would you, be opposed to it? It's time for the wedding, but right away, Yvonne is anxious. She's nervous about meeting William's mother. She's worried that his mother might not like her. And honestly, that fear makes sense. But what's strange is how long it took for William to introduce them in the first place. He talks to his mom all the time, so why hasn't this happened yet? What makes it worse is that William lied about his mom coming to the wedding, knowing damn well he never even told her about it. Now, I'll admit I'm a little weird when it comes to talking about my personal life with my parent or introducing someone unless it's serious, but you're marrying this girl, so what's taking you so long?
Me? There's something I need to talk to you about.
Me too. Some crazy lady called here and said she was going to marry you.
We're getting married on Thursday for Valentine's Day, and we really want you to come.
I'm not dragging myself to Los Angeles to watch you marry some hussy you just met. Oh, wait a minute! Don't marry her. It probably isn't even your baby. Now I've got
Married because we love each other.
Oh, I know my baby. If you're not telling me about it until now, it's because you don't really want to go through with it.
Yvonne calls off the wedding, as she should, because what was William thinking? The girls tried to fix the situation by basically gaslighting Yvonne into marrying William. They tell her that love is hard, that relationship takes work, all of that just because they're going through it, so they want Yvonne to go through it. They tell her that she's lucky to have William, but let's be honest, none of them would marry a man who didn't even introduce them to his mother. I mean, maybe Joan, no shade. Yvonne should have just made her mind and not continue with the wedding, because William shows up with his mom, and I'm doing air quotes right now because that was not his mom. He was just playing in her face the whole time. Till this day, I still don't understand why William did that. He was just low-key playing in her face left and right. But she questions the woman and ends up putting the wedding back on. Before we move on, can we take a second to appreciate Joan's wedding planning skills? She really missed her calling. Forget the J spot. She would have thrived in event planning. The wedding is beautiful. Everything is going well until the officiant calls Yvonne by her real name, Yvonne, and William corrects him, but we all are realizing at the same time that we've been pronouncing her name wrong. Now, this part is tricky because Yvonne should have probably corrected him early on, but even so, she's absolutely right to walk away. Maybe it should have happened sooner, but better late than married to somebody who doesn't even know how to pronounce your name. In that moment, Yvonne realized she gave up too much of herself to be with William. She admits that during the process, she gave up her career and she let herself be humiliated multiple times.
You do this because I called you Yvonne?
No, because I've been letting you and I never said anything about it. I let you walk all over me about setting a date, about the house. I let you humiliate me about this whole thing with your mother. I gave up my life's dream of being a cop. That's not something I would do. That's not me. That's Yvonne.
Please, Yvonne, don't do this.
Something kept gnawing at me, And I kept thinking it was you. But it's not. It's me. I just gave up too much of myself to be with you. We women, we want to be married so bad. And sometimes we just lose ourselves in the process. And that's exactly what I've done. I just don't know who I am anymore.
Yvonne.
We all should applaud Yvonne for choosing herself right there at the altar, because sometimes I love you just isn't enough. William didn't really respect her enough to commit and take her seriously. He hired a random woman from a retirement home to pretend to be his mother. And listen, I'm a procrastinator too. I wait until the last minute to do a lot of things, but if Yvonne hadn't cared about his mother being there, I honestly don't think William would have told her. Maybe until they had a kid, probably. At the end of the day, they could have worked things out if they took it slowly. I guess they had other plans for William. Too bad the wedding didn't work out. Beside a few fixable issues, they were a good couple. They had chemistry and overall they were funny. After that episode, we never see Yvonne again, which I found very strange. They could have at least given William face-to-face closure. But instead, in season 2, episode 21, Yvonne and her partner pulls William over to ask him a few questions. She didn't want to see him in person because they claimed she was feeling guilty. There's nothing to feel guilty about. She made the right decision. According to her partner, she rejoined the force and gained 40 pounds. In William's opinion, he said that was nothing but weight guilt. That was enough for him to feel better. Eventually, William moved on and went on to date a few different people, including Monica and Joan. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Originally, this was supposed to be a video about William's relationships, like all of them, but this is my first video and I didn't want it to be overly long. I decided to slow it down and really focus on William and Yvonne. Their relationship stood out to me, and honestly, I think it's one of the more funnier, light-hearted, and interesting storyline on Girlfriends. Out of all the friends, William gets the least attention when it comes to the relationships. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Girlfriends and I've watched the show more times than I can count, but for this video I actually enjoyed narrowing my focus to just William and Yvonne. As you can probably tell, this is my first video, so please let me know what you think about this analysis in the comments. I definitely plan on covering William's other relationships in the future. Overall, I plan on making more Girlfriends video as well. I really enjoy talking about sitcoms, so if you have any suggestions for future videos and topics, feel free to drop them below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.